Good things come to those who wait, and I think we all did our fair share of waiting. Good evening, everybody. I can finally welcome you to the lovely best of three that we're going to be casting tonight. It's going to be warFare GG versus Springroll for the lower bracket, I want to say quarterfinals of ESEA Main Season 33. Now, warFare, unfortunately, hot off of a loss, we'll have to deal with this counter pick by Springroll in map number 1 here. That being said, warFare are very strong on Mirage, and, well, I mean, that's a very strong shot by Hydric as well. The B defense also seems to be very well read by warFare, and they seem to be picking away at every single T, no problem whatsoever. It's a pretty quick pistol round, to be completely honest, but warFare easily spring away at all the members of Springroll, tap them down, get a couple of shots into their dome, and only lose a single player in the midst of it. So a very decent read to start things off. Makes things look already pretty promising for warFare, considering, again, they recently played Ryder Esports, I believe it was, and they lost in a pretty dismal fashion to them. That's a pretty nice shot by XM. Well, I barely have time to even think about what's going on, and 2 kills already go the wayside of the T's on the second round here, plus gun going to be retrieved from Springroll. Again, I barely have time to even think about what's going on by the time action already begins in the second round. Springroll, now with 2 kills to their name, will be trying to slowly push out over towards A. Their HP on 3 players is relatively low, but I still think they would have just a pretty big advantage in this situation here, just because of the sheer numbers alone. Slowly prodding through the site here, Jonesy will be making around the bend over towards CT. Bomb now planted makes things a bit easier for Springroll to have to play, or to play against rather. Great nade through. That should tag down XD. Indeed, he had no chance right there. Now the teammates will be joining Jonesy on his new adventure to take over the A-bomb site, and things are actually going relatively decent. There is a kit in play on Jonesy as well, and I mean, from here, it is just about a clean sweep. warFare, with a gorgeous retake, will take back the site and go up 2-0 against Springroll. I was worried initially, I gotta say. It feels like warFare, since they dropped those 2 kills almost immediately, the first over towards mid and the second, I believe, over by ramp or pallet. Yeah, it was by ramp, excuse me. I figured that Springroll would just try to do like a really fast contact over towards A, but maybe they just seemed a bit afraid of like quick rotates coming through, and they just want to try to see if they could get a little bit more from those pistols. But it ended up leading only to their demise. They were quickly shut down, even if it was a 3 versus 5. Still, those pistols cause damage. They get the bomb down, meaning that Springroll can afford to buy into this next one. And indeed, while their utility might be a little bit light, their guns are pretty heavy. AKs and even a Krieg in XM's hands. This opening kill, just based off the positions alone, should be going the way of Springroll, but Hydric is actually able to one-up that of the T side and take down Karn. Now another very solid position for the CTs to be in. They've kind of spread their defense all over the place here, and Jonesy, just playing off the contact of Mirth, will be very happy to hide underneath Palace here, and it's not checked completely by XD, leading to his death as well. Jonesy continuing under Palace now, unfortunately blinds himself. The kills are swinging a little back in favor of Springroll, as they are just kind of picking away. I mean, warFare, it felt like a lot of the time they were just kind of losing some of these gunfights that really you oughta. You know, I think the perfect example would be Jonesy, unfortunately, underneath Palace. I'm not exactly sure how Mirth died, but I feel like he didn't even have a chance to really fire back at anyone on Springroll. Now a 1-on-3. Well, I was about to say, I don't think Mills exactly has a chance in this one. And, well, Springroll will prove it to be true. That force-up next round, or in round number 3, ends up working complete magic for them. The AKs being bought up convert to kills very, very quickly for them, and warFare will be on the bit of a short end of the stick, to be completely honest. Pistols only. Flippy, what do you mean? Come on. I think this is fun. It's still early on. Early game CS is a very different beast than late round. But you can always see pistols show up even in times like this. And, well, I don't think this will exactly be the case. Oh, Alcoholics Anonymous versus Station 7. Is it that bad? Are you observing it or not? Who's to tell? It's another quickie. Something a little bit more akin to what I was expecting warFare to pull off on there on the CT side, but Springroll seem to be doing a little bit better. Oh man, Flippy, good luck, dude. I can tell it's not the hypest broadcast. This round, though, could actually be pretty hype here. Guns fully bought up for both teams, and Karn nearly actually gets away with that kill onto Jonesy. Jonesy himself also nearly being able to get away with 2, but they sneak right out of his vision, something that Hydric will be able to quickly pick up. And, well, now, suddenly, with not much time into the round, Jonesy, although he finds himself dead, will still have warFare on the forefront of being able to take this one away. Molotov, smoke expended over towards CT, but Mirth has managed to sneak right behind it. The timing is in his favor, and if Just Too Easy pushes this, he could be in for a real bad time. He doesn't even have to peek his head. Mills is going to be able to convert the frag. Now it's Mez by his lonesome. Our player to watch, lots of util, an AWP bomb. Lots of things going his way in theory, but if 1 versus 4 clutch against a warFare who surely after their last excursion, on Mirage, are going to be a little more primed to deal with their opposition. And my God, I mean, that's exactly what's happening. I didn't really give that the time of day to say, but Mello was dancing around the pillar. Mez had absolutely no clue what was going on. Just juked, absolutely juked. That was gorgeous to watch. And, well, results seem to be paying off in dividends. Only 1 victim from the CT side, being Jonesy. Leaves warFare in a very strong place against Springroll. Again, still early on in this game. Full AK, full nade buy from Springroll is going to be their last chance to, well, I wouldn't say last chance, that is not correct at all, but their last big buy for a while. If they lose this, they might be stuck on pistols for a bit of time, is I guess what I'm trying to get across here. But they've done more with less. That's what's important to mention. Whether it be in previous seasons or just this match itself. They can surely deliver whatever occasion they are granted. Bit of a slower play. Seem to be contacting over towards connector at the moment here. Perhaps an A split is in order here. Oh, Hydric, none the wiser to that flash. Falls victim to XM. That is a great way to open up the round. Springroll now have so much room to play with, and even a man advantage to boot. Jonesy also could fall victim too if he peeks out his head just a little bit more. XM backs off, and it looks like that A split will be coming to fruition. Now just a matter of time until the bodies start falling. Mirth is going to be on the receiving end of it, holding down the site. Gets one down with his M4, but the trade seems to be too much of a ask. Karn actually improving. 2 kills so far. Unfortunately, I think that will be the end of the line for him. He's on 19 points of health. Surely there's no way he finishes up. Mello here at home. Well, apparently I was caught off guard. Just a bit too early there. It's no problem for Karn. A triple in the round. Leads to a very, I mean, honestly, these rounds have been kind of strange early on. They felt one-sided to either team. Because that was a very one-sided round coming out from Springroll. warFare, despite even trying to read that A split that they had going, weren't able to deal with just the sheer amount of gunfights that Springroll were bringing to the table. So it still is going really back and forth. And since the CT economy is just that dismal, it becomes about 10 times more difficult for the CTs to actually keep on piecing together these rounds. So it should be Springroll taking the lead once more, bar any extenuating circumstances, like Hydric with pistol over at mid. And the pistols are actually picking away, doing a great job at it. Mez is soon to be overwhelmed as well. Holds it down with a deagle, but only against 2. XM has a perfect opportunity to close it out right here, right now, though. Guns picked up for warFare actually make the CTs have a very decent chance of closing this one out. Just Too Easy over on the A site, meanwhile. As his teammate falls, it will all fall onto him in turn. Gives up his position by taking that kill onto Hydric, who's just kind of peeking over towards Cat. That means that warFare know exactly where to try to locate the last remaining member. Spots him cross too. Mello doesn't try to confirm the kill, doesn't fire any bullets. Do they know that bomb is down, though? I mean, surely they have to know that bomb is down by now. Just too easy. Probably expecting it to be watched at the moment here. He's making a lot of noise. Jonesy's actually backing up. There's a real opportunity for Just Too Easy to pull this one off here. Defense split one at either site. Oh, this could actually go terribly wrong. I mean, at the very least, this is already a pretty great round for warFare. With how little they invested, they're getting great net worth out of it. But surely they can't choke away the win here, or they don't choke away the win here. Indeed, seems to be the case. Mello dashes away all my fears, gets the player while he is planting, and that is a full eco win for warFare. A very convincing one again at that. I swear to God, there's just no rhyme or reason to how these teams are playing these early rounds. I gotta say, though, I absolutely loved how the CTs played that. I mean, it was to almost perfection. Just picking away at mid, having a player even boosted up, ready in ladder room to peek out from that alternate angle over towards box. I mean, it's hard to play against that. Springroll are going to get punished because of it. They'll be able to buy up a Krieg and an AK. So it's not the worst buy in the world, but still a couple of asterisks just because there's pistols. I mean, hey, again, we saw warFare do more with even less than this. It's far from out of the realm of possibility. Springroll still not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination. They've already kept it competitive. I want to see if they can try to keep that recurring trend here. Mello jumping across, spots XM, doesn't choose to continue the fight here. Now Hydric will be getting into position as well, but that is just a perfect opportunity for Mello to strike himself. Sheds blood onto XM. Now forcing Springroll into a bit of an awkward situation. Now a man down, up against CTs with plenty of util, with only half of your players having util on their own right. And plus a Krieg given up too. That really hurts in a lot of ways. That Krieg might have actually been a round changer. But now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Yo, Sebas, thank you so much, man. I'm trying to be the best caster I can be. I really appreciate it, man. I'm also doing observing as well, so apologies if it's a little bit off. And those shots were anything but off. XM gets a gorgeous one on his way through, but he goes down to the firing range of CTs over by their spawn. Molotovs, smokes, flashes all come through. It's just a barrage of nades, a barrage of kills left, right, and center. And Mello is in the epicenter of it all. He can't quite get the quad. And somehow, Just Too Easy nearly finishes up the round to his own right, his own volition. Mills survives at the end of the deal, or at the end of the day, excuse me, with only 3 points of health. That was way, way too close for comfort. But warFare will sneak it away. After what looked like a impossible round to lose, they nearly proved me wrong. It's a little bit worrying because of that, isn't it? Now mid control will be taken by the ill-equipped terrorists. Going to be going for a pistol rush of their own volition. Ooh, great little jump in. Mills is going to be ready for it, though. He deals with one. He is going to get overwhelmed by pistols soon enough, though, so he's just kind of borrowing time, if he can, for Jonesy to try to clean up some of the damage, but he falls as well. I don't even know what to say. These pistols are just winning all the fights, apparently. Mills overwhelmed, and Jonesy just pushing it a little bit ambitiously for that kill conversion. Ended up leading to his demise, and I don't even know what happened with Hydric, to be completely honest. But suddenly, Springroll find themselves in a very, very comfortable state. Oh, XM. This could be really lethal, too. I mean, that was the last player who really had a decent chance at closing down this push. But since XM was just so trained on the angle by Van, there basically leaves no gaps. I mean, it basically leaves no gaps in their defense. They get the bomb down. Again, Springroll find themselves in a very comfortable place. So it's back-to-back eco wins, is it? Springroll? I mean, warFare win theirs. I guess Springroll just want to try to say, you know, anything you can do, we can do better. They seem to be proving it. It's even more convincing to what warFare were trying to pull off. Mirth, unfortunately, is only going to be able to get away with this MP9 as the bomb explodes. Looks like he's just actually trying to stay barely in range of pick up an M4. That would help the case a little bit more. Indeed, snatches the rifle away. The rest of his team, they're not doing too great. Mello as well could pick up an M4, but I think it actually might be in his best interest to drop a couple of pistols. Either way, no matter how you try to slice this one, it is not going to be very promising for warFare. They're back onto a very weak buy with only a single M4 this time around. Similar to what Springroll were trying to do. I mean, that Glock rush was actually the thing that somehow worked out for them. Big opportunity by them as well, taking advantage of how warFare hasn't exactly been peeking mid all too aggressively. Mills, I wouldn't even say caught off guard, but he was just overwhelmed. I mean, there's only so much you can do when it's 1 versus 5. CZ, that slow draw time as well didn't exactly help the case either. warFare, again, will try to strike blood wherever they can here, but Springroll are not giving them anything so far, really. In fact, they actually might get one back into their favor here as Mills is hiding behind these mid boxes. He's going to desperately need some sort of contact from his teammates here because he is being collapsed upon. And oh, Mills! He lets them cross, but Karn is wise. Just like the real Karn of Fnatic Legend. He checks his angles. He is a legend. Now Molly's util usage is through from Springroll. Henry says, what? Karn is a former player who used to play for Fnatic in Counter-Strike 1.6. This isn't the same Karn, but they're just the same name. I was just making reference to how he played smart. And this is actually really smartly played clutch. Speaking of which, both players dangerously low. I'm not sure if Mirth just realizes how close to victory he is, because I can basically taste it. I think he is going to get nothing more than a whiff. Great little shot into XD, but he is not going to be ready for XM. Doesn't quite use the auto shotgun, which his name is based after, but he'll do the job just fine with an M4. Now, all evened up yet again. Stream is lagging. That is strange. It shouldn't be. I am at 5200 consistent for my bitrate. Sorry about that, though, if it is. This is going to be a very sorry state of affairs for warFare, I gotta say. Take a gander at this here. It's even more of a pathetic buy. CZ's not going to be able to recreate the magic that Springroll pulled off a bit earlier. The off angles don't quite work the same they used to. It's all up to Jonesy and Mello with barely any time off the clock. Springroll basically have this one in the bag, as Mello doesn't even get a chance to chop through the smoke. Frames are dropping to 30 and lagging a few seconds every so often. That is so weird. I have not been dropping any frames, and my bitrate has been consistent. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. I might restart stream if things don't keep working out, but that shouldn't be happening. I don't know what's going on. Okay, that's actually not true. I did drop frames, but that was during the pregame, that 30-minute warm-up that we had. Should be consistent. And this buy, well, it might be a little bit of an outlier for warFare. They get the AWP out in Mills' hands. They're expecting an A execute onto the site. No fakes, no crazy default plays into a split. No, it's just a full out execute onto the site here. And Springroll get the site all to themselves. Most likely get the bomb plant all to themselves as well. Push up from XM actually finds 2 out of absolutely nowhere. I don't know where that was from, but he just pushes up through stairs and somehow gets away with it all. 2 versus 2 as Mello and Mills get a kill to their name each. But Karn is ready to stem the wound. Removes Mello, who's causing a little bit of injustice, as Mills now has to hold the line all by his lonesome. An AWP against 2 members of Springroll. The bomb is starting to tick very, very quickly, and I think it is just about done. Oh, Mills. That is probably the most unfortunate way to go as well. Just too easy. At the ready on that angle. Basically was the only place that Mills was not checking. Got caught off guard by it, and Springroll will get rewarded with number 7. Finally, that streak of being, broken, or economies being broken left, right, and center, back and forth every so often. That's been broken in of itself. Now warFare stuck on a weak buy yet again. Will have themselves on the back foot for the CT half. Again, this is the map pick of Springroll. Oh, that is a missed nade. That nade actually could have done insane damage as well, as warFare, all pushing up towards mid, are looking to do extreme damage, but they're going to get away with only a glimpse at what could have been. Couple of body shots and a kill conversion onto XD, but even he is able to take down 2 kills to the grave with him. It's a pretty lackluster eco. Again, pales in comparison to what we saw from warFare previously. And it's another full investment. This time it is going to be the last healthy buy for warFare. If they lose it, they're going to be stuck on pistols for number 15. And I mean, really, just because of that reason alone, I say that this is one of the more important rounds of the half. I mean, warFare, they're on the verge of making this a 10-5 half in favor of the opposition, and they haven't really had a lot to show for it. Towards the beginning of the half, yeah, they did, but they have been quiet recently. Springroll have been able to reign supreme. I like this, though. Aggression from Mello is a little bit of a change-up. Oh, but the timing is just not in his favor whatsoever. That has to hurt here. Salt in the wound, perhaps, as maybe their hopes of winning the round have just gotten away from them. But Hydrick is doing his best to keep the dream alive. Gets a kill and stops this push right in its tracks. Springroll now decide to maybe switch things up here. Now a 4-on-4. warFare are forced to split their defense, either 2 to each site, or maybe bargaining one site or another. Mez getting tagged down from that AWP by Mills is pretty huge. Might actually change up how they decide to execute onto his site. Molotov out towards bench. Mez still holds the line. AWP in hand here. Mills should be ready on the angle with Hydrick there to back him up. Keep an eye on the bomb at the moment. It is over towards underpass. Hydrick confirms the kill, but this could be a perfect setup, for an A execute. An A split. Mirth will have to stop this, and indeed he does. He gets the bomb carrier too. Right, just like that, it might be done and dusted. XM will have to go absolutely massive here, and he's unable to with that Krieg. That newfound Krieg that he has made his friend ends up being his worst enemy, and God, it seems like XD, that spray was his worst enemy. That's basically me whenever I am in matchmaking. So it's relatable. But it's unfortunate to see. warFare win the important round that they most definitely needed to, and keep things ever so competitive against Springroll. The CT side hasn't been like the most amazing, most epic, not something you're going to think back on how to play it to a T, but it is working. It's getting them 6 rounds. Springroll have really been on the forefront of being able to close out these rounds, though, and that's going to start to hurt. I mean, Ori was hurting their economy, warFare. They're lucky they're able to piece together another buy like this, but I mean, double committing a smoke to take out a Molotov like that, that's something that can't keep happening. Because now Springroll, now with 2 smokes that they don't have to worry about, will be making an A execute onto the site yet again. This time, they don't even have to switch anything up here. I mean, they don't have to go for an A split. They still will plant in the smoke here. But Mirth will be able to find the first blood. I say it all matter-of-factly, but really, all of this is not going down as swimmingly as I thought it would for Springroll here. Molotov even going down, forcing Karn out of position. Luckily, the kill isn't converted, but it's traded out no problem. And it's a quick, swift defeat. Springroll, unfortunately, are only able to make it 8 after what could have been 10, maybe even more rounds for them here. And because of that, warFare are able to keep it competitive on the CT side of Mirage. Again, the map pick of Springroll as well. They certainly brought a lot to the table on the T side. Let's see if their CT side can be just as impressive. I see no reason why it shouldn't. I mean, just thinking about it so far, Springroll, I'm trying to think, was there anything that was like really crazy, you know, any amazing strats that we saw from them? And I'm kind of drawing up blanks. I mean, there are some very standard executes. They seemed really confident in hitting their shots. It wasn't any like strange setups or anything. I did like some of their late round calls. There was a number of times where a late A split worked out perfectly for them. But a lot of them, I feel like they're finding success after having like a pretty decent skeleton of a round. You know, like they execute fully onto A, like we saw in that last in round number 15. Excuse me. It's just that they didn't quite hit their shots in the same way. They're getting spammed through smokes by players like Mirth, and because of that, I mean, it's just going to be an easy conversion from there on out. warFare already got into a 3 versus 5 in their favor before the smokes even dissipated. So, I mean, a lot is going the way of Springroll, but I think warFare have managed to, again, at least kind of bandage that wound for the most part. Now heading onto the T side is going to be the real challenge for them. Again, it's 8-7 with Springroll barely inching them out. Now moving on to the statistically favored side, will find themselves in a very nice spot here. Springroll also buying up full armor. No nades, no defuse kits, no nothing. And 4 players over towards B. Just reeks of counter strat, and I think they might be in for a lovely surprise here, because this is where all of warFare are. The kills traded back and forth actually seem to be favoring the T side right now. Overwhelmingly so, in fact. Mello with a triple kill. Wants to get a quad if he possibly can. Mez just nearly gave it away to him, but Mills, it will be quick on the rotate. Wants to close it out as well. Pick up a frag, steal it away from Mello's hard-earned triple. But Mez will dodge the opportunity. What is going on, Mills? What are you doing? Well, at least he closes it out, but that looked a little bit strange. I mean, really, that is just the pinnacle of CS right there. You know, the rush B no stop movement. I'm not sure like who exactly was counter-stratting who there, but they both seem well prepared for each other in a lot of respects. Springroll committing 4 players over towards B super early on. Well, not even super early on, just like as their starting positions. Seemed like they had a good idea that they would be rushed down by warFare, but warFare, I also felt like we're like really well prepared for it just because they just rushed them down. Like they were not worried about those USPs whatsoever, because a lot of the big things that can slow down a rush, i.e., you know, a Molotov, even an HE, a smoke, basically any form of utility was not present on the CT side, and because of that, I mean, warFare just able to run over them. Pistols are all that Springroll have at the moment with an AFK player, interestingly enough. 4 committed over towards B yet again. warFare seemed to be kind of prodding over towards that area, but surely on an anti-eco sort of situation like this, it's not going to be something they commit to early. Mirth is leading the charge with an AK, the heaviest hitter in the server for the time being. I am a little bit worried just because of that alone. Looks like Just Too Easy is back to join the action. Tetros, it looks like Big Chillin' are going to be playing tomorrow. It looks like they got rescheduled, but rest assured that match will happen soon enough. Pistols somehow take down Mills to start things off. Mez, I don't know how he's able to get away with that one. It just seemed like more of a jump scare than anything. Springroll slowly able to edge this one out for the time being here. Although Just Too Easy just gave up his position. Surely Mello is going to be able to at least trade one out here. Oh, he's going to get more than he bargained for. Picks up a double. Knows that there was a player over towards CT, so he'll call it out while his teammates just rush over towards the site in question. And I mean, it's a gauntlet of kills for warFare. Mills, I'm surprised he was the only victim and that he fell so early, and that there was just no response whatsoever from Springroll. Yo, no problem, Tetris. See you tomorrow, man. 8-9, warFare take back the lead on, well, not even take back, just take the lead on Mirage. Springroll have always kept it competitive versus them, and this might be another case of exactly what I'm mentioning. Hell, well, I mean, they're going to get it off with a bang, aren't they? Mello already taken out through that top mid smoke. I was about to say Springroll fully investing have a very decent chance at striking back and evening things up with warFare, considering that a couple of players didn't spend a lot of their money wisely. That util was not used whatsoever from Mello, unfortunately. I think it was his top mid smoke. It was either his or Mills. I can't exactly remember who. Hindsight's 2020. Mez still lurking in window, though. We'll cross over. Now a man down. warFare are in a bit of a tricky position. Something that we saw Springroll in a number of times. And they were able to still eke out rounds. But I think it might be just a little bit tougher for warFare. Karn backing up. Oh my god. It's so close to Jonesy at the moment. I'm not even sure if he realizes how close. Nice flash through. Trying to bait out a little bit of noise, but still no give from either side. No more kills have gone through, but I think that dam might be broken, with Jonesy actually being able to find the first, and Mez nearly at breaking point with Hydric. How have neither of them spotted each other? Oh my god, you must spot it now, right? There we are. Okay, Hydric finally gets it. Patience plays off. It is one hell of a virtue. Just too easy, though. Well, he gets killed just too easily. With warFare now finding themselves a man up with the bomb down, they have, again, pulled off their best Springroll impression. They are making this a very convincing round in its own right. Hell, Mirth feeling it right now. Goes for a very wide peek onto XM and wins it. Putting warFare up on double digits and well on their way to being able to steal away the map pick of Springroll. I gotta say, that is important as well because, as previously mentioned, I think I at least mentioned it, might have been during the last time warFare played on Mirage. They're not a bad Mirage team. I mean, warFare, I believe, even picked Mirage versus their last teammates. They just kind of got blown out of the water against Ryder. They still very much like have a horse in this race and are good at the map. Well, they're definitely well prepared for whatever Springroll are trying, that's for sure. 2 immediately demolished from Mills with more yet to come? What? What a gorgeous shot from Just Too Easy. I didn't even think he would be the one converting the kill there, but here I am. Hey, Ewaz, that match looks like got rescheduled till tomorrow. Christ. Oh, Hydric. He just got rescheduled to play tomorrow as well. He is out of this one. That match is happening tomorrow, though, I should mention. For the meantime, though, enjoy some lovely ESEA Main, because this time it's going back and forth. These positions, these off angles, these everything, really, seems to be working out just fine for warFare. Although Mellow, or excuse me, working out just fine for Springroll. Although Mellow is the last one left standing, he is against XM, who definitely is going to be keen, ready for Mellow, who's just about to push it to his crosshairs, and he is just trained on that angle. Yes, I would imagine it is. Got pushed till Sunday. So, yeah. Springroll, I mean, hell, what can I say about them? I have no clue whatsoever how that round managed to work out so swimmingly for them. Really, my best guess would be the fact that Just Too Easy had an incredible round with the Deagle. He was able to pick up 3, basically changed the landscape for that entire time, and that continues our tradition of seeing multiple eco rounds go in every which team's favor. There is no telling who's going to be winning a round when you see the buys, apparently. Just because I've been caught off guard so many times now. This time it's even footing for both teams. I would say my pick to win this would be warFare. They seem a bit confident at the moment. I mean, this is a very comfortable map for Springroll to pick against them. warFare have won it in very dominating fashions against some other teams in this division. So I'm hoping that they can get a decent performance. They've made it competitive so far, though, Springroll. As they find a 1-for-1 trade, they again find themselves on even footing, just like the beginning of this round here. Boosted up into window will be Jonesy. A lot of the time Springroll have played a player ready at jungle, but this is one of those few cases where they really haven't. I mean, you have XD watching the cross, but even he is backing up the angle too. That is actually really unfortunate too. That changes everything. Oh my lord, Jonesy can now go on a mission. Mirth might not even need to make that happen, excuse me. Trades going left and right here. Jonesy. Oh no, he's turning around as well. Oh, this is so awkward. The bomb will get taken, or put down, excuse me, and Just Too Easy now puts himself against 2. With a flash up to start things off on a good note. He'll look to close it out on an even better note too. He had a gorgeous round last time. Let's see if he can continue the magic here. Nate goes out trying to convert that kill into Jonesy, but he's just a little bit off. Now he knows where Mellow is as well. Spots the corner of his body, able to get the kill. Now knows exactly where Jonesy is. He has single-handedly made this possible. Taps the bomb once, isn't going to be ready for him to peek out from triple, and because of that, Jonesy will reign supreme. But that was way too close for comfort. I have no clue at all how Just Too Easy was able to get that kill into Mellow, but my god, did it get my heart racing. and how maybe even Mello might be a little bit frustrated about that one. He is doing incredible in the server. Top fragger, 24 and 13. He was a close second for the player to watch on warFare, I gotta say, but Mills just had a really solid performance yesterday. He ended up just squeaking out. I think warFare are just on the verge of being able to squeak out another round victory here, put themselves up on 12. There's pretty much nothing that Springroll can really realistically do, considering that their Deagle God from the last couple of rounds has just went down. XD as well as XM. We'll again have to clutch it out versus, well, now 4 members, but originally it was 5. That kill actually did get converted relatively quickly in XD's favor. Henry, the player to watch on Springroll, my pick was Mez, who is currently sitting about middle of the pack. He's at 14 kills, hasn't been having the craziest superstar game. XM usually sick. Yeah, I can agree with that one as well. He has some pretty crazy maps. Still one of my favorite maps from Springroll is when they were in open last season. And against a team that actually did really well in open playoffs. Like, I mean, it had some main players on it. I think they're just smurfing at this level. Hold on, hold the phone for a moment here. This is really good damage done on Springroll's side. Sure, they lose the guns, but they managed to take down 3 to the grave with them. That is unbelievable. Yes, it's Woody Fly. Love that guy. I remember this one round this one game that Springroll had on Vertigo where XM dropped like, what was it, like 45 kills or something in regulation or something stupid like that on Vertigo. That is a missed Molotov. Well, Woody Fly doesn't show his best all the time. He just wants to give warFare a little bit of a chance early on in this round. So 2 Molotovs already expended, with Karn even trying to push ramp as well. Somehow wins that one versus Mills. That is a gorgeous way to start things off. Again, there is just no breathing room in these rounds sometimes. These kills can just happen so early on in the rounds where barely by the time we hit that minute 30 mark, already 2 players have gone down. And warFare, this is another one where they aren't exactly looking keen to win it. They'll still give it their old college try. Mirth, lurking in apartments, will be playing behind this wall to avoid getting spotted. But I really don't think he's the one to watch here. I mean, honestly, his teammates having tons of util could set up for a fake execute. Maybe they could try to pull a fake over towards A, drag out some rotations over towards mid, something of the sort here. Losing a player does not help their case, though. I gotta say, 2 players to the left and right side of Connector basically leaves him with no choice but to take the fight here. Mello looks away from the second player, though, and I think just because of that, he might have just danced with victory. How has XM not peaked that? That is unbelievable. It's actually not impossible, warFare. If they can somehow, I mean, it would require spidey sense, but if they can just spot just too easy, there's a real shot for it. Not so much possible anymore, though, just because Mello went down, but there's a couple of opportunities where that actually could have swung the other way, but the pendulum will favor Springroll for the time being as they get double digits as well. Basically within striking range. As we see a pause being called. Not exactly sure which side this is for here. In theory, it would make sense for Springroll just because they're at the deficit, but I think this would also be a very comfortable time for warFare to call one as well. They're only 4 away from closing this out. A lot of the time, what we saw in the last matchup from warFare as well, important to mention, is when they were up against Ryder Esports, they really struggled on Inferno. I mean, they brought it to triple OT. They lost it 25-22, I think, but there are so many times where they were only like 1 or 2 rounds away from doing it, and they seem to kind of feel a little bit more nervous, can't quite execute the same way when they're like relatively close to victory, and I'm wondering if this is one of those cases, if they're just like trying to force themselves to calm down a little. Mello, I mean, he's chill. I mean, he's living up to his name right now. He's at 27 kills, which is pretty absurd for only being 23 rounds into this one. Or 22 technically, but round 23 is starting right now. Tactical timeout done. warFare on pistols only. And just going to be rushing it over towards B. I mean, they don't really seem to have any crazy Oh, okay, never mind. They're getting a little bit tricky with it. They're baiting out some utility early on from Springroll. They know how liberal they have been with those Molotovs over towards A ramp and B apartments, respectively. Now they make a conga line over towards the A side of the map with double flashes at the ready for Mills. They're just going to try to waterfall out Palace. I really don't have high hopes for this whatsoever. I don't see it really working out to much of anything. I think the CTs will show exactly why. It is basically... How do I word it? Have you guys ever played that Guardian mission where it's like you and one other person have to hold down a site versus like a bunch of bots who all have Glocks for like the first couple of rounds? That was basically what that was. It was just kind of a shooting range. Like, that was not a very difficult challenge for Springroll whatsoever here. Those flashes really didn't even do much of anything. Even if Karn was like half blind through that, he was still able to get kills hide up in Sandwich. Like, I mean, I understand what warFare were going for here. They didn't really have a convincing way to close out that round. Their best chance would have been, you know, hindsight being 20/20, of course, trying to rush mid, like Springroll were doing. That being said, though, this round already seems to be a little bit more promising for them here, as Jonesy has been able to find that first kill. Traded out just as quickly from Just Too Easy. Mello continues with another kill, though. Getting... Actually, not Just Too Easy. Just Too Easy is still lurking. He's found two now. A bit of a awkward execute onto the A site, to be completely honest, but they still survive for the time being and will be able to get the bomb down. Playing post plant, though, is going to be a whole other beast entirely, and this makes things very, very difficult now, I gotta say. I really am not sure if warFare are going to be able to fight off the Springroll members here. They both know probably exactly where they are. Mirth, is he going to go for the dry peek? That is so risky if he actually wants to. Doesn't quite eat the flashbang here, but he will be eating lead for breakfast. And yeah, that was a little bit more of what I was worried about. Springroll now evening things up. It's just because they're... What am I trying to say here? I think the reason that worked out so promisingly for Springroll is just because the util, first off. I mean, they had a smoke. Worst comes to worst, they could just try to, like, smoke off to isolate a fight. They could smoke out Palace, something like that. But also just, like, the positions that they had, they know exactly where warFare were playing from. So it's just going to become so difficult to try to play against that. Now warFare with another buy up here. Not going to be the heaviest, strongest buy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something to work with. They're going to, this time, bring it up over towards B, but the rotates are quick through from Springroll. Again, barely any time to breathe here, while the shots already start coming through, flooding through, in fact. If they can get the bomb down, there is a chance, but it is a very slim margin that they're going to be working with here. The two Arizona legends themselves, Mills and Jonesy, versus the world. And with Mills going down, Jonesy is just basically a footnote at this point here. Suffocated by lead this time around too. And Springroll now find themselves on 13 with a couple of guns that they can pick up as well. It's starting to look very, very nice now, Springroll. The money, because they got the bomb down, warFare are going to be able to buy up. They're going to have to cut a couple of corners, and I mean, where they decide to cut those corners really can kind of shape how this round looks. Mills, okay, I was going to say, theoretically, he could have gone for a glass cannon setup. I've seen that a couple of times from him, I think. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like doing glass cannon all too much, but those ops haven't exactly been game-changing. Mez even holding down mid as well would try to stomp that out, excuse me. Jenny, the other two maps are going to be Inferno and Nuke, with warFare picking Inferno after nearly beating Ryder Esports on it. Check this out. Push up. I just said it, Henry. It's going to be Inferno and Nuke after this, man. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel like it just entered like a different dimension. What the hell is this? Hydric has managed to push out B completely dry. XM flanking around from behind is able to actually find 3. And then Just Too Easy is flanking around as well. I mean, I looked away for 1 second, and suddenly everyone was dying. That was a little bit of a fever dream of a round, but it's something that Springroll seemed very confident in. I don't exactly feel very good about that one, warFare. Christ, where do I even begin? Hydric was just able to dry peek over towards B. And as they did that, warFare started pushing out over towards A ramp. They all got sprayed down by XM, Woodyfly. And then the round was just basically over from there. It was strange to watch. Now warFare, again stuck on pistols here, find themselves between a rock and a hard spot here. And they'll choose to go with a hard spot here, and hell, they're actually closing the distance between them and the CTs. This is a much needed adjustment. If they can find some of these early kills, they can take over the site, maybe win it. This is something that Springroll were pulling off when they were on the T side as well. It's a very, very welcome adjustment, and it actually might be the recipe for success. Mills gets another kill to boot here. Not just too easy, finds himself in a 1-on-3. What are even these rounds? They are so back and forth, and I'm not saying that in a good way. It's very messy, but I think warFare have just settled through the dust, through the fire in the flames. They carry on. Whatever other Dragon Force reference you want to make it, somehow just too easy. Wasn't even trained on that angle as well, and he doesn't even get to save the Krieg. I mean, these have been two very, very strange rounds to watch, and I mean, it's anyone's game just because of that. I like that much more aggressive approach that they had. I feel like mid is going to be one of the easier spots for warFare to exploit. But they have now brought out the big guns, the big green guns, in fact. Double sniper setup on Springroll here, and the first one will already prove to be lethal. XM holds the line as well, and it's another very quick round that is, this time, well, it's quick and dirty, but it just seems to be more so dirty than anything. Jonesy will get one trade in response, but it's up to the Arizona duo again. And I have very little hope, very little confidence that this 4 versus 2 will work out. A shot through the smoke? Oh, okay, never mind. It wasn't a shot through the smoke. It was just Mez holding down Catwalk. And Jonesy, look, I've seen him win this in an Arizona 10-man, but I think this is a bit too tall of an order. Springroll seem to agree with me. They put themselves on match point, ready to close out map number 1. It's their map pick. warFare are able to keep it close, able to keep it competitive. But I think Springroll just will be able to outlast them. I wouldn't quite call it convincing victory, because there were some strange things to take from either side of it. But it is going to be a victory. And I think just because of that, warFare have at least won a couple of brownie points. Smoke. Or the Molotov, excuse me, now fading. Great nade through onto Mirth. Man, that is salt in the wound that he eats the op shot as well. That might be the beginning of the end, to be completely honest. warFare have won these 4 versus 5s before. It's usually been a quick A execute that has done them the most work. And even avoiding connector entirely actually has done them better than when they tried to take it. Just because Mez has kind of lurked around over towards Cat. This time it's just too easy. So indeed it will be that A execute once more. Possibly the last time on Mirage. warFare definitely seem very vulnerable though to a lot of what Springroll are trying here. Case in point, you might see it actually right here with XM as he holds the line with an M4. Only one person falls victim to him. But, I mean, that is just going to be a perfect opportunity for Karn to be able to pick off where his team left off. Same story with Just Too Easy as he's over by stairs. Karn gets the first, and the second basically will be the final. It's Jonesy against the world, and the world wins. Springroll are going to be able to take map number 1, and they do it towards the end of it, at least, in a much more convincing fashion than that beginning was. There were some definite hiccups. Don't get me wrong. That was far from, like, the most convincing round, or the most convincing game of CS that you'll see today. But, I mean, it's still their map. Springroll seem definitely ready, up for the challenge. Their T side, I mean, they've got so many rounds on their T side, where I feel like just because of that, it was so hard for warFare to play against it. That being said, there's still plenty of more Counter-Strike to go, potential 2 more maps for you guys to watch. I'm going to go ahead and toss it to a quick break over to some music so I can get some water, rest my voice for a little bit. But then we are going to be back for map number 2. It's going to be Inferno. You don't want to miss it because I feel like if it delivers even half as much as map number 1 was, it's still going to be a banger. We'll see you soon. My name is Ito. And, yeah, have a good one.
just waiting here for you. I just want your presence, you got me feeling blue. And don't keep me waiting, don't leave me in this way. Got me going crazy and I don't wanna wait. I just wanna make you see, I feel like I'm in heaven when you are here with me. And don't keep me waiting, don't leave me in this way. Got me going crazy and I don't wanna wait. I just want your loving, come and give me something. I just want your loving,
Map 1 wasn't the most kind to warFare, I suppose you can say, but they're hoping map number 2 will be a little bit more so. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back for map 2 of this lovely series between warFare and Springroll for the ESEA Main lower bracket playoffs. And it's going to be starting out with a bang. Springroll now on the CT side will have to face off against the map pick of warFare. They kept it competitive, but unfortunately did lose it when they're up against Ryder Esports. It was just a couple of days back, and this one already doesn't seem to be doing them rather well. And, well, I mean, although they get one kill in response here, the second and third might be too much to ask for. Although Mirth has gotten away with murder, I think they just might catch him soon here. The Glock doesn't quite hit, and it's another quick round. Well, I mean, another quick round continuing from what we saw in Mirage, I suppose you can say. And honestly, I was actually going to use that as a talking point heading into this game. warFare, when they were facing off against Ryder, one thing that they were very comfortable with doing over and over again, you saw it a lot of times, was CT wraps, arch side wraps. And they already bringing it on the pistol, working to not exactly the degree of success that they would have hoped for here, but they at least make it somewhat competitive, which I think is important here. Have Springroll left wondering what you're going to try out. Aggro nades and a little bit of aggro aggression, or aggro control of Banana. With Molotovs right behind it, should actually just lead to a gauntlet of kills for warFare. Okay. That was a little bit more anticlimactic than I thought it would be, but that contact play over towards Banana ends up doing nothing more than just padding the stats a bit more of XD and Karn. Gotta say, XD has been getting off to a much more fiery start than we saw in Mirage. Not that he had a bad performance on that map by any means, but I mean, getting that first round, he got 2 kills with a pistol, basically single-handedly destroyed any hopes that warFare had of, you know, taking that game. Or taking that pistol, rather. And then, I mean, in the second round like that, he just kind of ruined their dreams of going up towards Banana. So he has now had a significant part in both rounds of ruining the hopes and dreams of warFare. Something that generally is kind of mean to do, but I feel like in this case makes a little bit sense when you're talking about competition, and that is not at all what I thought I would be seeing out of competition like this. XM pushing down mid, finds a double kill, but, I mean, basically, I don't even have time to breathe when how many kills is that? 7 kills already go down? Soon to be 8, because XD is just about to push up over towards Moto and try to collapse on Jonesy. I mean, that round done and dusted very quickly. Oh, Henry, he actually got 3 kills on the pistol? Thank you, my bad. I was thinking of the 2 kills that he just got very quickly as they're going up Archway. But yes, you are totally correct. 3 in the pistol, 3 in the follow-up, 0 in round number 3, but they will look to change their fortune as they picked up an AWP in number 4. I mean, that actually worked out very, very well for warFare, I gotta say. I mean, with Springroll going for something so aggressive like that, it did not work out at all for them. Did not pan out in the big picture. I mean, hell, there wasn't even a big picture when I kind of think about it here. That round, again, was over within like 35 seconds. It was a bit of a quick draw on both sides, and a quick draw over towards Banana as well as XD on the receiving end. He's actually peeking down with an AWP as well, so having that gun out of the hands is pretty devastating for Springroll. Now having to split 2-2 at either which site, warFare can have their picking of where to go here. It seems that they seem to be airing towards this B-bomb site here, setting it for a couple of nades while the teammates slowly consolidate to join them over towards Banana. But they can afford to take this slow. Still a bit over, or actually just about a minute left on the clock. And almost no utility from them expended. So they have made themselves a very comfortable nest egg to sit on if they want to close out this round here. The gamble stack from Springroll is through, though, with XM joining the party at B. That spray actually could prove to be rather lethal here. Hydric able to take down Karn to start things off on a nice note. But XM with that AUG is ever the nuisance. Oh my god, Mez, what a... Mez? No way. No one is just gonna... Oh my god, Mez. He's still here. He's still there. That is insane. He just stays alive and nearly gets a double because of it. And it doesn't pan out again for the big picture, but I think someone ought to be jump scared about how the hell he got there. Mirth even going for a little bit of a ballsy kill to close things out into just too easy. In that round, I mean, despite a little bit of a hiccup, I guess you could say, that overall seems to be a rather smooth round around the edges for warFare. Kills when entering up. XD with the AWP by Carr. He wasn't Molotov'd out, but he was snuffed out either way. This time that Molotov will come through. Stacking top of Banana with XD at the ready with a Zeus. I perhaps could actually see him getting one here. Hiding behind the half wall here. If that's not spammed out, if that's not dealt with whatsoever, could perhaps be lethal. But the T's are a bit split in their offense here. They aren't looking to give up an inch if they possibly can. Map control does favor them in a number of different ways. Karn watches the angle with a dig at hand, in hand. Takes a shot, nothing. Wow, the Zeus doesn't even find a kill either. I was about to say, it should be a quick kill for XD, but no. Takes the words right out of my mouth as Mills is the one entering in this time around. The Arizona duo is finding all the kills in this one here, with Hydric actually showing up as well. I'm not sure if he's from Arizona, but either way, a little bit of kill diversity. I like it. Now 1-on-5 for XM. No kit, barely any HP, so barely any chance of winning the round too. Nice little triple from Mills, I gotta say. That pistol could have actually been very, very dangerous for Springroll. If they got stuck up towards the top of Banana right there, XD was able to find that kill, causes warFare to hesitate just a little bit. We could have seen that actually swinging around the other way. Obviously, did not go that way whatsoever. warFare were able to get out of that one without losing a player. And because of that, they have significantly more money to work with in case they were to lose this one here. But I don't exactly see that happening. Springroll pushing down Banana all as a unit. Will not be quite ready for what warFare are trying to pull off here. Now the rotates have come through, but Mills and co will just be entering out towards A again as this conga line of just terrorists. It's unbelievable. It's hard to play against, but this is kind of the bread and butter of warFare. They love this kind of aggressive style. You've seen it a lot in the regular season matches if you watched any of them. They did this against some of the teams regardless of caliber, and it's what boosted them to such a high ranking in ESEA Main. I mean, they were 7th seed for a reason. Springroll, I actually think were slightly lower seeded, but still had a very decent season. I gotta say though, this early game has now significantly gone in favor of warFare. Nice little kill by the wayside, but Karn is on borrowed time here. He's being chased down by 3 members. Actually tags down Mirth, but it's traded out, op retrieved. And I mean, while it's a little bit more damage than I think Springroll or than warFare would have wanted to give up, it's actually pretty damn decent. They get the op to boot and find themselves now with money. An AWP in their hand. This time it's on XM. I swear we saw someone else having it before. Was it Mez or XT? Was it? I believe had it out previously. This time it's our boy Woodyfly. So perhaps a little bit of a interesting setup is in the works here. You see that they're actually going to be rotating all their players. Okay, no, Karn has decided to anchor B, probably the smarter move here, but 4 over towards A, where warFare are actually setting up. I'm not sure how they got all this information here. I think it had something to do with that bottom banana smoke, but this seems a little bit of a gamble, and they start to realize it. They will bring XD back over. But it's still Mez, just too easy, and XM all holding down A. And it's still the area that warFare seem to want to try to pry open. XM holding that boiler room. It'll actually be Karn over at B to find the first kill. That's onto the lurking Mills. But XM gets the first one, no problem here. That peek out from boiler did not work out, did not pan out at all for Jonesy. Now Mello will look to try to get things back into his team's favor, but he just dies like the rest. This round is slowly starting to crumble for warFare. They seem to be picked off one by one, and at this point, it's just kind of courtesy that Mirth closes it out right here. He will listen to the voice of reason, just reset, go next. And hope to find yourself in a better spot next time around, because that was a little bit lackluster, I gotta say, warFare. Giving up that pick very, very early on. Mills, unfortunately, just died when trying to push Banana a little bit aggressively, but there wasn't like an immediate A hit that happened after the fact. So Springroll felt maybe a little bit confident pushing for information. They could bring a rotate over. Generally, it's not something that I've been seeing a lot from warFare. When they try to slow it down a bit, they have a couple of hiccups. Hiccups indeed, as Hydric falls. Le Funk, what happened with match between Timberman and Big Chillin'? It got rescheduled till tomorrow, man. It should be happening Sunday. I don't exactly remember what time, but it's going to be happening tomorrow. Now 4-on-5. With warFare again on the back foot here. Pretty difficult to try to get yourself in a solid position from here, especially since they only have 3 nades to go. Or 3 nades to work with, rather. 2 of which being smokes. That kind of helps them actually pull off and execute here. But they're significantly lacking flashes. And that is not something Springroll are struggling with whatsoever. Plus, they have quick rotates. At this point, I don't see how warFare managed to make this one work. They're going to be going for a contact play to try to work with that lack of flashbangs that they have. But now they have a lack of players on top of it to drop at the push of a button. And, I mean, hell, just like that, Mirth finds himself alone. 1-on-5, dies just as quickly. And kind of the expected result. When warFare don't have any util to really make a push happen onto the B bomb site here, they find themselves stuck out in the middle of nowhere with nothing really to say. I'll leave it up now 4-4. Springroll definitely have started to ride that momentum a little bit more. It's been a couple in a row for them. They actually might be able to get another one in their favor, too. Early util tossed down towards Banana, where warFare are actually just going to be waiting over towards T-spawn, trying to get a little bit of information elsewhere. They're peeking a bit over towards apartments. Mirth just making noise, trying to bring out some more utility if they possibly can. Those Molotovs have been probably the biggest menace for warFare so far. It basically single-handedly shut down that push over at B last round, for example. Even if it didn't do all the damage, it really just has been zoning them out so hard. There hasn't been any firefighter plays or anything of the sort. Mills has a flash ready. Does pop his teammates in. If they can get the bomb down, I consider this a win. I'm just not even sure if they're going to be able to even get that far here, especially with Karn holding the line. Actually gets overwhelmed by pistols, so XD will have to pick up where his teammate left off, and he's doing it perfectly. Gets 3, sprays down for the 4. Okay, it's a little bit more of a hiccup. You have time. All right, there we are. Okay, he gets it. He gets it. Don't worry. XD just wanted to make it stylish with the last couple of bullets. I understand it. I've been there. That USP sometimes seems to hit everything except what you're trying to aim at and kill. Another expected result for Springroll. Now find themselves in the lead early on the CT side. Statistically, it makes sense. This is kind of the result that you would see on CT side of Inferno. But, I mean, this T side hasn't exactly been very promising for... I mean, it had its moments for warFare. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. It hasn't been all very pretty for them. I feel like their B has been a little bit lackluster. I mean, like, I don't really know what was going on there, for instance. Jonesy pushed all the way towards Carr, but Mills wasn't ready to trade him out. There's no flashes at the ready. Mills now just hides behind half wall, looking to trade out. Carr has gone away with 2 now. Thank God for Mills being able to stem the wound and actually gets a double entry. I don't even know whose round this is anymore, because now a push down mid from Mez. Mirth on the lurk. This is just... I mean, I guess it's going the way of warFare. That was a very weird round. I do not like that one whatsoever. I have no clue how that worked out for warFare, but somehow they find themselves on 5, evening up the score against Springroll. And, well, I mean, I guess that worked out. I don't really know how. I don't know what was going on over towards Banana. But people just started dying left, right, and center, and the CTs ended up being on the short end of the stick. That being said, despite that round win, warFare still have those same glaring flaws that I've noticed over towards Banana. I'm guessing that was just a little bit of miscommunication, something that won't happen all too often, but Karn was able to get away with 2 and might have actually just gotten Mills as well if that shot just connected, obviously. That could have swung completely around. They already seem to be taking a bit more of a careful approach to it. Mills playing now top of Banana, checking out, making sure no one's hiding over towards sandbags. The Arizona duo, again, I've mentioned them by name so many times, but they are sitting pretty. That is a missed flash from Mills, unfortunate. But the smoke from CT will come out. Again, getting a little bit more of that Banana control, trying to ward Springroll off for the time being here. Counter smokes will happen over towards mid now. So Springroll are definitely expecting this to be a fake. In theory, just because of the utility expended, it feels like this would be a great time to go B. Because Springroll have yet to budge. In fact, they're actually gambling bringing another rotate over. You see XD is kind of considering wavering back and forth between wanting to commit to CT or not, but that flash seems to have convinced him otherwise. Now contact play begins up towards A. Great nade to start things off here. 3 counter terrorists at the ready, with Mez probably going to be the first one at the firing range here. Looks away from the flash, stays alive, but is overwhelmed by pistols. There's still another CT at the ready, though. That's XD, but the people on site are dealing with it absolutely perfectly. They get all 5 within the matter of a couple of seconds. That is unbelievably held by Springroll, I got to say. There was no shots. That was just unbelievable. It was going so well for just a little bit of time there, warFare, but it seems that they committed to like different parts of A and were picked off as a result. And keep in mind that op over towards A, I want to say it was Karn who was doing it. It might have been XM. His head was on a swivel just looking over towards Moto and alternating between looking at Moto and Porch. He still got the kills, and then he had the pit player ready to help him out. I mean, pistols overwhelming the AWP has been a common trend for this series so far, but I think something might have just broke. Hydrick is actually able to get away with that one, too. He stays alive a lot longer than I thought. Henry S. says, I love your enthusiasm. Yo, thank you so much, man. I'm trying to make these matches exciting because, you know, everyone loves Counter-Strike. I love Counter-Strike. I'm just trying to make it a bit more enjoyable for everybody across the board. This half has been anything but enjoyable for warFare, though. Despite getting 5 rounds to their name so far on the T side, some of them have been very close defeats. Like, I mean, I feel like Springroll, while they have 7 rounds, it doesn't feel like a convincing 7 rounds sometimes. It feels like just, well, no, that's not true. They're dealing with a lot of these situations well. It feels like bad reads from warFare in a lot of situations, I suppose. That is not one of the bad reads, and hell, that is actually one of the better reads that I've seen so far. Hydrick and Mello immediately sniped down 2 to start things off on a good note. Mez, again, head on a swivel, turns around to spot Mello and take him down. 3-on-3 as we enter the post plant, but not for long, because XD has entered the picture, and he has exited the picture now. His life is taken, and warFare might have just taken this round too. Karn, again, now has to look around at all angles for where these potential terrorists could be here, but he is not looking at the right areas here. Mez, his teammate, falls, and Karn now has to pull off the 1 versus 2. Gets the first shot with relative confidence, but the second seems to outmaneuver him. Mirth comes out on top of that one and keeps warFare competitive on the T side. Have successfully, hurt the economy of Springroll as well. If this isn't a win from Springroll, we might actually see this be a really weak bye on number 15. Relatively important when it comes to deciding this final halftime score. Could either be 9-6 or 8-7. Quite obviously, but I'm pretty sure warFare are looking to make this one 8-7. This is probably their last big hurdle of the half. Again, if they overcome this bye, they should be in a good spot economically. Karn looks away. What? Is that just bad timing? Or I'm not sure what that was, but it looks like he even spotted the barrel but looked away after he saw it. It isn't Slender Man. You don't have to look away from it. 4-on-5. Just bad timing. Yeah, I agree. It probably is just that, Henry, but it does hurt to watch. It's not the best of situations for Springroll to be in. I feel like that's kind of a lot of what warFare have been on the receiving end of. Just like, sometimes unlucky reads on situations, not being able to deal with it. I mean, proper credit to Springroll. They've been dealing with this half, I have to say, very well. By the way, quick little break in the action for a second. I was about to say they were going to make a CT wrap, but it seems like they've actually decided to all go port side too. They're just going to be doing a conga line up towards the area. 4-man save? Oh, I think Springroll probably... I like it. That's smart. His team was flashing him in from Coffin. I didn't even see that flashbang being thrown, though. That's was confusing me, but that, I mean, that makes perfect sense if it was. I just didn't actually see that. Makes a lot more sense when you consider the fact that these players are probably actually good at the game and aren't making nearly as many mistakes as I would have thought. They're better. You're right. I probably just misunderstood what was going on there. 4-man save for Springroll in the final round. It's a very quiet one, but it's a necessary thing to do for Springroll. Otherwise, their money is going to be minimal. They're going to have 1,900 coming into their pockets after this. So Karn, even after his teammates will be saving 4 rifles, his team will only be able to pick up like an MP9 for him. Probably that's it. Maybe a FAMAS actually. Probably not even. I mean, Springroll, it's definitely the right move for them to save into this last one. And they're actually able to piece together something really decent because of it. 2 MP9s, an AWP in XM's hands. XM is kind of the X factor in this game, I feel. Has definitely had some very explosive rounds. He's peeking down mid this time. Not quite ready on the angle. Boiler, and watching a Boiler is probably his favorite spot to be in. And right now, he is going to be backing up. Play over towards site. Give up brackets control to warFare. They have successfully made this 8-7. Let's see if warFare can turn this one on its head, though, and actually somehow manage to come out on top of the lead, despite looking very mortal in this game. I mean, both these teams, again, are great in their own right. But the dam has broke. Oh, I think that spot... I love it, Mirth. He's so quick on the trigger. Just too easy. That is just too bad. He doesn't even have a chance for life by the time he's already dead. Mez is trying to now stem the wound a little bit by pushing over through mid. I think they might have actually spotted him through the smoke. Mirth is ready for him to push in through Boiler here, but still loses the fight to Mez. Hydric now flash up from his teammate, actually falls victim to Mez as well. He's found a double. This is why he was my player to watch heading into this game. This round has fallen apart all the way for warFare. That first kill is all that they have to their name. Mez has stolen away their chance of glory. XD has as well. And Jonesy finds himself alone against 4 members. I have no clue whatsoever how that just was a disaster for warFare. Mez was able to hold down the line just unbelievably so. XD was just there to try to get a nice little crossfire through. I mean, Jonesy, go for the plant if you can, but it's going to be XD to steal away the triple. But that was all on Mez, in my opinion. Those 2 kills over towards mid were absolutely huge. And basically decided that Springroll, we're going to be an 8-7. I still can't believe that round just... I mean, it was a 4 versus 5. At that point, it's still definitely possible for it to swing in either team's favor, but it was looking so good for warFare. If that flash hit onto Mez, he was going to be dead to rights. But now it's nothing more than a distant memory. They're going to be looking for number 8 as they enter the second pistol, but there's just going to be a small break before then. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Ito, and I'm bringing you the ESEA Main Season 3 lower bracket playoffs. And I actually appreciate a lot of the support for this. I didn't expect to have about 40 viewers constant. Actually feels really nice to have. Trying my best to put on a decent show for you guys. I'm really hoping that both these teams are doing the same thing. It was 8-7 on map number 1, and we saw how that panned out for Springroll. But now, I mean, well, warFare will be moving on to the CT side of this map here. I do generally like how warFare... Oh, Jenny says 30 viewers constant isn't enough, Ito, 20k one day. I would really like that, but I think I would actually have to be hired for an event to actually make those kind of numbers. At the very least, I would really like to make it into the MDL team, the ESEA partner team. Oh, Iris, yo, I love you, dude. Thank you. But hey, don't worry. I got denied from the ESEA partner program by fucking Drewski of all people, dude. Drewski? Like, really? He doesn't even... Whatever, man. Salt aside. It's all good. A little bit of a break again. Both these teams probably need it. Probably talk about things. warFare. Again, I really do like how they play their T sides. They didn't exploit Arch nearly as much as I thought they were. They felt like they just kept on trying B a lot of the time, and their brackets control was like really slow. I mean, in a perfect world that wouldn't happen, but it's important to mention that like these are ESEA main teams. You can't expect them to be, the Astralises of the world. They're just trying to live, But a nice little break will do them some good. In a best of 3 like this, having a little bit of downtime really does help things. Suppose we can talk about what we need to see from warFare to really kind of step it up. Well, I mean, I guess what we need to see is probably a different question, but what I'd like to see is a confident anti-strat on the eco, or on the pistol rather. They've done it so far, working to varying degrees of success. Both teams have actually done that. I would imagine warFare, based off of how they played versus Rider Esports, I think they stuck 4 people A, if I'm correct. I might be wrong on that, but I'm wondering if Springroll have done their homework and maybe are going to try to adjust to it, or if they're just going to try out something different completely. I might be completely wrong, but I mean, I feel like a pistol would really help warFare's confidence at the moment. Again, this is their map pick. You have to hope that they have something planned for us. They had some interesting shows, interesting performances on Mirage, but it didn't net them a win. It was just a close loss. And, well, it looks like halftime is done on that note. Zinx asks, what was Mirage's score? Mirage was 16-13 in favor of Springroll. And this one, who knows what it could even be. Welcome back for the second half. Finally back into this one after a nice little break. And I immediately want to see what warFare have planned for us. Yep, there it is, the 4 players A. And wait, no, it's actually 3 players. Counting is hard. So it's just going to be a standard 3-2 split. warFare at the ready will have B just under their control very, very soon here. Right now they're just playing a bit slower. I'm fine with that. It's actually all quiet for now. Single flashbang in Woody Fly's hands here will flash both of his teammates up, one on either side of brackets for good measure. And look at this. We're going to be seeing the wrap. We're going to be seeing the warFare strat being used against them. Talk about guerrilla warfare here. I love it. Smoke dropped. CT will be looked at from both sides. Oh, and a boost up as well. I love this from Springroll so far here. This is a perfect range for USPs to be in, though. But the Glocks are reigning supreme. Now pushing into the site. Oh, this is going to be so difficult for warFare to hold the line. Mello will do his best, and he's doing a damn good job at it. Finds 2 kills. Mills with another on his way to enter the site. But Mez has now entered from the backline himself here. There's flanks on flanks on flanks at the moment. And right now, the T's are just on the verge of stealing this one away. Mez can't get the kills. The CTs are not trading him out either. How is it this close? How is it this competitive? This is unreal. Just Too Easy has a bomb, but cannot realistically get it planted. He fakes the plant here. Mirth, as the T's start pushing him through the CT spawn, the shots don't connect, and Springroll steal that one away. What is going on in these pistol rounds? I thought I saw all the craziness when I saw that pistol round from, what was it, G2 Tyloo before. But this is something else. I mean, these are some really, really weird pistols that we're seeing. It was all normal up until map number 2, isn't it? Now forced up from both teams. AK's in the works from Springroll, along with a couple of Mac 10s. Scouts, Deegs, pretty much getting everything that warFare can realistically put together, piece together to make this round work. but I don't really have a lot of hope. Springroll, in these kind of situations when things are fast, at least from what we saw in Mirage, they seem to have warFare's number. This shouldn't be a different case, I have to say. That actually might convince me otherwise. Nice little shot from Mello. Mills gets one as well. Jonesy still lurking over towards Oranges. Only gets a nice little tag onto Mez, but it's nothing more than a distant memory as he makes his way down to the grave. 2-on-3 with one player dangerously low on health. I think at this point here, just might be the best bet for warFare to try to save this. They invested a lot. Hydric, I mean, it's about 2,000 of equipment on his body. Paid $0 of equipment on his body. He has fallen. Mirth, yeah, he's just gonna have to save. I mean, this is kind of worst case scenario for warFare, isn't it? They're really close to getting a lot of these kills. Mello and Jonesy in particular with those pistols were, honestly, just millimeters away from closing out kills on the Springroll. That could have been a completely different round. You know, if Mello got that one kill, if Jonesy was able to trade out the player over towards, Pit, excuse me. There's like a lot of little things that in theory could have swung it right back into the favor of warFare. But it's not. Springroll are definitely they're definitely coming out on top of these early scenarios, and it is looking so damn good for them now. warFare don't even commit a player over towards B this time around. And Springroll are going to be rolling with the punches. That force-up attempt from warFare finds not much of anything. They'll be going for a stack this time over towards brackets, but will Springroll take control here? Mez watching for it here, but the first victim is going to be XD. He's going to be far from the last, though, as I feel like we're going to see a very bloody gauntlet over towards mid. Full rotate from the CTs over towards B now. Mirth still lurks over in Boiler. If he could provide just a little bit of noise, a little bit of distraction, warFare could theoretically get away with stacking B. Bomb is still down for Springroll. They are perfectly pliable. They can take this wherever they wish. Oh, but take a look at this from Mello. This is so much information. The footsteps alone are really so telling. It's a story in of itself. They theoretically could keep that third player over at B. And in fact, I think they should. Oh, Mello's actually able to get the bomb carrier. He gets a dink. He actually gets another. Mello is doing insane work all by his lonesome. This man only has a pistol. Yeah, he's doing more work than the rifles have in this round. In this game so far, it feels like Mez will eventually tarnish the beast, take him down, and Mez will actually get a second one. Again, this is exactly why I put Mez as my player to watch. He, even if it's against pistols, he is keeping the dream alive for Springroll. I think that 7-11 might become a reality soon here. And it is anything but convenience for warFare now. Mirth against the world here. And again, the world will win. Oh, that's so frustrating. Mello, seriously, that was huge. I mean, he got 2 kills. I mean, sure, he got traded out for the third, but I mean, that's one round that I really want to rewatch. I'm not exactly sure what the response from the T side was after the fact, or from the CT side was after the fact, because they didn't switch it up. They still took it over towards B, but I feel like the CTs just were not ready to deal with it whatsoever. Fully rushing B. Nice little countermeasure against the potential aggressive members of warFare. Mez will find, again, first kill. This time it's on to Mello, who's a big nuisance, a big pain in their backside last time around. Jonesy, who is trying to be a pain in the backside this time around, won't have a chance, and it's going to be a 3-man save barely any time into the game. We'll get forced down to about 40 seconds as a bomb gets planted at B. And it's going to be number 12 for Springroll. So this is starting to spiral out of control now from warFare. They are still yet to find a round on the CT side, and that doesn't look to be changing. Again, full loss bonus is through from warFare. Yeah, they can buy up. That's no problem. That's not the issue I'm worried about here. It's what comes after that. What happens when Springroll actually get away with a round dominantly? They have so much money at this point, where even if warFare... Well, I mean, they'll have a lot of money after this point, I should say. They'll have the bomb explode. I mean, some of these players will be on 8K. Or just about 8K, that is. A little damage done, at least. But, I mean, this is really, like, teetering on the verge of utter collapse. Springroll could just very nearly take this one away. And it's honestly up to warFare to try to strike back. They'll have one more very confident buy. Not in this, I mean, in this game, they'll probably have a couple of more. But, I mean, this is going to be it for a good while. If they don't win this, they might just have to put themselves up against 14. That's a very scary prospect here, especially when you're on elimination point for the playoffs. I still have hope for warFare, though. We saw what they can do. I mean, I think they even matched against Springroll sometime during the regular season. Not sure if they won. I might be actually wrong in that. I would have to check my homework. Mills has done his homework on the angles. He's trying to do some simple geometry over at mid here. Triple stack, brackets fully controlled from Springroll. Nice nades come through, but Springroll will not fall victim to them. Oh, great shot from Mills as well. It doesn't quite connect, but I mean, he barely spotted anything. He still took that shot anyway. Still an even game. Contact play going up over towards B as Karn is the lone holder of A. Now the bodyguards of B bomb site. On the side of warFare, GG will do their best to stop, halt this push, halt this momentum that Springroll have built up for rounds to come now. Jonesy tries his best to do it, but he can only do so much. Same story with Mello. The site is taken, and it's a 3-on-3 as the bomb goes down. Two players pretty tagged up. Karn in just too easy. This next kill can really decide all. These next two kills have decided all. It's looking real good now for warFare. Shadow is not spotted, and the kill is not there for just too easy. It's going to be another round on the board for warFare GG, a much-needed one at that. Again, I said that was probably the most important round for them to win, at least when it comes to at least trying to make a comeback happen. Now only 4 rounds, or 4 round the difference between the two teams. The money still not bad. Springroll can buy just because they piece together so many in a row, and a lot of them in convincing fashions. From here on out, though, it becomes a little bit tougher for them to build up a healthy economy. I think Springroll might have to save if they lose this one. That's a bit of a question mark, though. I'm not 100% sure on that. Can't be arsed to do the work right now. Mello is doing all the work over towards Banana, but he falls victim to Karn. This has to hurt. At least Mills is able to trade out. So the refrag is there, albeit at a different site. But it's 2 kills that go unpunished. And another 4-on-4 situation that we find ourselves in. 4-on-4s are notoriously good for the CT side for obvious reason. It can split the defense. And oh my god, it might have just been even yet again. Ducking underneath the bullets, Jonesy stays alive, but the site will get taken just as quickly from Springroll. And I mean, I sound like a broken record, but it feels like Springroll have found themselves in so many post plants in a very comfortable setting for them as well, in theory. But they're having a hard time dealing with it. They dropped a player before they even got the bomb down, so another retake will begin for warFare to have to try to come out on top of. And Mez not watching the angle towards Banana might lead to his inevitable demise, but Mez is clean on the angle himself, though. Finds Hydric. The second one connects through the logs here. He wants to finish up the job as well. There's duels happening every which way, and Mez will find himself alone, tagged up by a grenade. The ops reign supreme as Mills finds a double. That's unbelievable. warFare. It's another one that they squeak away. I figured there's going to be so much more damage done because of Mez's very strong angle over towards Banana, but it only ends up being that one kill that Springroll are able to take down with them. They get the bomb down time and time again, sure, but that's still not going to be enough for them to buy up after this. Pistols, etc., etc. Not a very convincing buy. In fact, anything but. That nade is pretty damn convincing, though. Poor Mez. 50 HP. I think it's important to mention, though, that Springroll, despite them being on pistols here, I still think they have a real decent chance at making this one work. I am still scared for the potential that warFare have of dropping this round here, just because Springroll are, 1, that damn good at pistols, and 2, a bit shaky against ecos. I suppose it goes for either side, though. I mean, both teams have had their skirmishes with the pistols, and this time they are much improved on it. Mello, Jonesy, both finding kills here. Although Jonesy's traded out, I think Mello should be able to hold the line here. He gets the first. Woohoo! A nice little quad at the end of the day, a motivational booster, if nothing else. But it is more than just that motivational booster. It's number 10 for warFare. Now only 2 round the difference. They're basically within striking distance of Springroll. If they win this, it's going to be another save, potentially, for Springroll. It's a buy up here. And, I mean, they're going to be having 3,400 if they lose this. If they get the bomb down, that's 4,200, question mark. So they should be able to actually buy up if Springroll get the bomb down. Will that happen, though? That's a different question entirely. I mean, Springroll have had very good luck with it so far. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't, but warFare have been improving on the CT side so far. Let's see if they can complete it. Smoke now starts to dissipate over towards T-Ramp. Mello has a perfect angle. That scope does make noise, though, and I'm a little bit worried that he's going to get pre-aimed because of that. He has a teammate, Jonesy, at the ready over towards A-Ramp. The T's actually eat grenades, but they seem to be fine for the time being. They're playing it slow, warding off the CTs as the smoke goes down towards the bottom of Banana yet again. Brackets control surely in the works at this point here. This could be a very, very scary push over towards A here. Hydric finds the first kill, but just too easy. We'll get a very easy frag onto Mirth over towards Graveyard in return. Smoke goes down, and there is that Archer's control yet again. We've seen so many times from warFare. It seems that Springroll again are trying to prove that they can do them one better. Now booking it over towards the B bomb site, Springroll find themselves again in a very comfortable situation. Even if they lose it from here on out, even if they lose this round, you know, with 3 players remaining, which again, I don't think they're going to be losing this round, they're still going to be able to buy. Springroll are in a very comfortable position, no matter what. That nest egg of money is seriously doing them nothing but good, and the lack of utility is really starting to hurt warFare as well, and just too easy. Gets 1 kill, traded out. Mills is forced to save his AWP. That's it. It's 13 for Springroll. A sniper for Mills is going to be his nice little consolation prize, but it pales in comparison to a round win. That's what they really need. Springroll stop warFare's momentum just like that. And warFare knocked down a peg, still aren't out of this. They're going to buy up fully yet once more. But rounds are starting to slip away from them. This is another very important round for them to win. They need to continue to make this competitive, or else they might find themselves lost, dazed, confused, unsure of what to do. It seems only rounds away at this point. And Springroll might be able to close this out 2-0. warFare struggling to stay alive in this season. We'll have to put on one hell of a performance to close out Inferno. Double snipers. Bit of a switch up. You see Mello picking it up alongside Mills. Mills, who's going for an aggressive push over into apartments. Boiler, rather. Doesn't find anything. XC just holds. You see how Springroll have played this a little bit more slow than they have before. Setting up for a B execute. And wringing some of this early utility out from the CT side. And it works. Still though, CTs are well equipped to deal with this. They have enough to deal with a quarantine. Who knows how many flashbangs you would need for a quarantine, but well, looks like the answer will be told by the victors in this case. Setting up for an execute. The first smoke falls. And the cavalry will be right behind it too. First point will be Mez, who has an AK plus the bomb. That bomb actually going first could lead to a lot of information given to warFare. They might not fully believe that this is an execute, but now they have to be convinced here. Mello zoned out, still pushes past the smoke. Jonesy peeks out wide. Unfortunately, he's unable to get any of the kills. Just too easy. Also finds one for his trouble. And it's another one that will be swinging the wayside for Springroll. A refrag in response. Mills in a very aggressive position. Could actually get one back into his team's favor, and suddenly this doesn't look so bad anymore. It's a 2-on-3, but they seem really dedicated to the fight here. XD taking out Mills, or taking out Hydric, might lead to the end of the line for Mills, might lead to the end of the line for warFare. Because there is almost nothing more to redeem from this one here. Mills has successfully juiced out all the success that he can from this one here. As he looks at bringing Op to the grave with him, he'll just be going to the grave empty-handed. 10-14, Springroll inch ever closer to continuing in ESEA Main and ever closer to knocking out warFare. 2 rounds to go, potentially. And warFare, that was a very important round for them to win. The fact that they don't have it makes things a little bit more scary. Flash up. Jonesy right behind it. Now aggressive banana control will be coming out from the CT side here. They want to take control of B by any means necessary. They will. But they can't back off of it. I know they expect warFare to, or expect Springroll to try to take it over, but I'm just so worried that Mills won't be able to hold this down alone. They have a great read on the situation, Springroll. And warFare themselves actually do have a pretty decent read on it as well. Are they going to be going for that CT wrap? That will be the question of the day apparently here. And the question is Mello. Will he show up? Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to show up in kind just like the rest of his teammates. And quickly we find ourselves alone. Mills doesn't even check for XM. And he's able to get a freebie, really. That doesn't even look necessarily competitive too, unfortunately. It's just really unfortunate all the way down. I feel like unfortunate has been probably the most said sentence, the most said word rather, this entire series, but I mean it really has been that at a lot of situations, hasn't it? Just very unfortunate a number of times. 5 rounds is what warFare will need to win in a row just to force it to overtime. And then from overtime, it's a whole other beast. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but warFare need their medicine. Potential last round of ESEA Season 33 for warFare might come right here. A weak buy versus the heavily equipped buy of Springroll. And again, that aggressive banana control coming through. This time, Springroll are a little bit more ready for it here. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Mello is trying to bring out all his silly antics. He gets 1 kill, seals an AK, and will bring it back to relative safety. And so things continue to be neutral. 1-for-1 either which way. But for how much longer? The dam has broken so many times for Springroll. They have been able to put themselves in a solid situation and then just kind of trade out from there. Hell, they haven't even been refragged all the time, it feels like. It's been very solid executes from Springroll, and I think that's how they want to try to close out this series if they possibly can. warFare. They're even stacking 3 players over towards A. With Springroll, with how slow that they have played this, it is a bit of a gamble. You have to gamble one site, obviously, unless you want to try to split your defense 2-2, but I don't even like it at that point. Contact up, Springroll. Again, look where they're going. It's Archside. It's been their favorite place to go, and how can you blame them? It's a great destination for terrorists to go. They now look to break the silence here, and that might be a very unfortunate silence for warFare to be on the receiving end of. First kill, second kill, go the way of Springroll. It's Mirth having to hold down the site alone. He gets 2 kills, sure, but how long is he going to be able to hold the line for here? Mello will have to book it over towards the A bomb site here, make his way up towards mid. Mirth still lurks over in pit. He's staying alive for a very scary amount of time, but he is now going to have to do it all against 2 members, but I don't exactly have the hope in it. Mirth, he's a shot. He's only going to be having lead for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is done. It is dusted. warFare have been knocked out of ESEA Main playoffs contention. And Icy asks, does winner make advanced? I am not sure. I think they have to make one more game. I think it's top 4 of ESEA Main make advanced, but I could be wrong on that. Either way, Springroll. I mean, that is very confident play from them. I gotta say, I feel like warFare were trying to make a lot of big adjustments. Top 8 make advanced? Oh, well, in that case, that means warFare also made it, right? I'm not sure. Either way, what I do know is that Springroll continue on in the season. And And they will try to fight for more and more. You have to win 3, I believe. Okay, thank you. Might be. Oh, warFare is number 9. Damn, that sucks. It's unfortunate, but, I mean, warFare, they can take a lot from this. It wasn't the worst showing. Those were 2 relatively competitive maps. Sure, the second one probably didn't end in their... I mean, neither of them ended in their favor that they wanted, but map 2 was a little bit depressing towards the end. But warFare can still take a lot from it. They had a very confident season. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end. From there, I mean, hey, what can I even say? I think I'm just about done here. Commiserations to warFare and congratulations to Springroll. I mean, very confident play, I gotta say. Gotta be proud with that one. That is going to be it for me tonight. If you guys enjoyed, please feel free to follow me on Twitter and also on my Twitch. I stream relatively often. I go live with a lot of ESEA Advanced, ESEA Main, a lot of matches. Have open GoTVs. I try to cast. And yeah, I'll try to see you guys very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.